right? Everybody can see my screen, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So chapter 13, okay, it's another continuation of dealing with customers because this time we're going to be taking a look at how to compute an estimate and how you can convert that into an invoice, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about what a estimate is and what does it do. So pretty straightforward, right? What estimates are is anything that's like a bid, a quote. If a customer is just trying to shop around, ask them for how much is this, how much is that. That's exactly what this portion is that if a customer is wanting to know information about being a potential customer or, taking a look at all your products and services that you sell, right? And then they make their informed decision later on in the future. Now, that's exactly what Imagine Photography does is that because they are a photography type of service and provider, they are the kind of people that are going to be getting a lot of estimates. Now, again, using estimates is going to definitely be depending on what kind of company you are. Now, if you're a regular retail store, most likely you're not going to get an estimate, right? Because if you're just selling products in general, you wouldn't need an estimate. Okay, this is more along for people who provide more for services that kind of want to quote. All right, and that what this is in this chapter is for, just in case you guys do either work for a service company or work for a company or create your own company that is a service provider, then this is going to be your section right here because you will be getting customers that are going to be calling in asking about your the pricing on your services, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be building quotes or whatever means it is, a bid, okay, uh, a potential sales order for whatever means it is, okay. Now, once again, estimates are going to be considered a non-posting transaction because the one thing that you need to know about estimates is it is a potential order for a service or a product, right? It's not a guaranteed, right? These customers, all they're doing is they're shopping around and they're just asking you for pricings, okay? And that's where it's not guaranteed that eventually that those estimates become invoices, okay? Because there are oftentimes a lot of people will be shopping and they find maybe a better deal. Maybe they have, the prices are in their range, the shop or the location is more closer to them. There are many reasons why after the quote has been done, you either follow up with them or they just flop out, okay? So that is what an estimate does. All right, it doesn't affect your accounts receivable at all because once again they are only potential sales, right? And when the customer agrees on it, then that's where you could start talking about processing it into an actual invoice. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into our very, very first one here. Now, if you guys remember from way back when we started in chapter 12, one of the questions that we set up our company was, do you have or do you use estimates or do you want to create estimates? In this particular type of business, yes, it's ideal to create estimates. Then the second question after that was, do you do progress invoicing? Okay, so those two questions, keep those in mind because we're going to talk about that today in this chapter right here. So here we're going to take a look at our very first estimate here, a potential customer that wants to know how much a service is or could potentially want these services. So let's dive it right in. So once again, if you did say, yes, I do create or want to create estimates, then this little window right here is going to pop up or this icon is going to pop up. All right. And wherever you see this, and wherever you see an invoice, you are also going to find the estimates. So once again, there are many ways to enter in an estimate. So everywhere you go, so we have on the home page right here. That's only if you click yes to doing estimates, okay? It has to be a set preference. If you do that, then you unlock all the ways that you can enter in an estimate. So once again, home page is one. All right. You got your menu bar for your customers right here. Create estimates. Okay. Or where are you? There you go. Create estimates. Okay. And if you go to the customer center, right at the top, new transactions, you got estimates. Okay. You even have that if you right click on any customer, you can create an estimate. Okay, right there. You can even go as far as going down to manage transactions, and you can also create estimates. Okay. And of course, if you are in your income tracker, you are able to also produce estimates through this manage transactions as well. Okay, so that is that. So once you've are going to create an estimate, so a potential prospect or somebody who's interested in your services or whatever that you are providing for this customer, they're just going to get information, and what you're going to do is you're going to build a quote, a bid, or whatever you want to call it, an estimate, right, based on what they want for the package or whatever they are trying to ask for. So in this case, we are looking at Garrison Family Portrait, okay? And this class is San Jose, I think. All right. And again, this one's going to be for the future. So we're going to have to toggle this a bit. So this one's going to be for, I believe it's going to be on it's going to be in February 14, Valentine's Day, but for the year 2025, okay? Now, like I mentioned before, it's not recommended to type it in, but once again, I'm not going to spend all my time clicking until I get to the year 25. So by just typing it in here, I can pull down the calendar, and here it is. This gives you the exact date for the year 25. Okay, so Valentine's Day in the year 2025. Okay, now how would you put your estimates? You could put it however you'd like. Usually they say you should do it for the year of that service, and then just put a 1 because that will be your first estimate for the year 2025. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the list of items that they want to be receiving from us. Okay, so let's take a look at the book. Book says they want to have indoor photo sessions, they want to have photo papers, and they want a retouching services. So they want 4 hours of indoor, 10 photo papers, and 2 retouchings. Okay. And in this case, right, we're going to talk about, because this is an invoice, what you can do here is that on this invoice, you can choose, since you don't really know who these people are, you can actually adjust and actually mark up your price value since this is a brand new customer. Now, most cases, you're more likely to tend to give your customer, a discount if they're the first time kind of ordeal. But in this case, I'm going to be marking up some of the prices because they don't know what my prices are. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up my photo paper by 25%. All right, we'll talk about that in a second, but let's go ahead and fill all the information in on the services that they want. Okay, so starting from here, we have the Garrison Family Portrait. We have San Jose, and this one, you do need to set this one to be a custom estimate, not a retail, not anything else, but a custom estimate. All right. So then first thing they have here on the items list is going to be an indoor photo session, right? Indoor photo session, right? And they want to have a total of 4 hours, right? Then the next item here is they want some photo paper. Okay, so photo paper. And they want 10 of them. Okay? And once again, because I decided that I want to mark up the value here, okay, I'm supposed to be on custom estimate, proposal quote. Let me try quote. No, it's supposed to be for custom. I don't see where I can enter in my marking.
I'm sorry.
Oh, right here, markup.
Which-
Yes, what was that?
Are you doing that again, or do you click something I miss?
I'm just toggling up here what it's supposed to be because I was looking for the markup portion here.
Oh, I am on a custom estimate.
Yes, yep,
Still.
I'm on that one too. Custom estimate, yes. So here you go. So this is what I was talking about earlier, right? My second item I have here is photo paper. They're gonna buy 10 of them from us, but because they don't know what my actual set prices are, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mark up this price value to be a percentage. So if you actually click this little button here, it's gonna be giving you option. Do you want to give them a flat rate? Or a flat fee, or are you going to mark it up by a specific percentage? In this case, I'm going to mark it up 25% as a percentage. Oh, and it won't adjust for me. This should be 25%. There you go. Let's see. There you go. So 25%, I'm going to mark up my photo paper. So now that each item is no longer $128, it's $150. Okay. Or sorry, $12 each. It's going to be marked up to $150. All right. And the last thing that they wanted was a retouching services. Okay. Which in this case, they wanted 2 of them. All right. Once again, all of these are services except for one, the item that they are purchasing from them, which is the photo paper. Okay? And of course, customer message, you could say thank you for considering, thank you for your business, whatever it means that you want to send to your customer. In this case, I also want to say that this is this is a quote, an estimate. So you can choose what they're going there are. You can say that they wanted 4 indoor photo sessions, 10 photo papers, and 2 retouching. Okay. Once again, these notes are going to be placed on, or when you convert them into a invoice, it's actually going to carry this information over so that when you fill out your invoice, it's pretty much done. Okay. So there's my invoice, and they're going to be charged at Santa Clara. Yes, they're going to be charged at Santa Clara. So now everything looks good, and everything is ready to go ahead and just verify, and we are done. So here, Garrison Family Photo, they just want to just have this estimate, and I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay. Now, we talked about estimates, right? You can be creating multiple estimates, especially if they are looking into seeing which one that they're going to be looking at. So they could be like, what if I want only 2 photo sessions and stuff and stuff. You can create as many estimates you want for a customer. Okay? Create as many as you want for a customer, right? Because if you want to make sure that the customer feels good about the price, but also making sure that whatever services that they want, you're going to be providing it and how much you're going to provide it. Now, of course, you could find that if you look up Garrison John, you can find the estimate is right there, and you can always toggle, click on it, and you could be able to enter it, modify it however you like. All right. And in this case, that's my first estimate. I'm not going to make any changes to this, so I'm just going to go ahead and exit out the window. When I exit out the window. Okay. So that's how you do an estimate. All right. Any questions there? Pretty straightforward. It looks very similar to any invoice, right? Except this time it doesn't count as an account receivable. It's a pending transaction, or it's a pending to be approved by the customer for you to proceed with whatever services that they request from you. All right. So any questions there?
Yes, if you have to modify something on the estimate to create another, after that you print the other one for your customer, you make another one or you modify the first one?
You definitely want to keep the estimates. You definitely want to keep the estimates because once again, what if your customer was like, oh wait, let me go back to the other one. All right, you want to keep your estimates. If you can modify them if they want to, but at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is if they want something from you and they're picking between the 2, 3, 4, 5 options that they have, it would be best to just create a separate estimate for every single one that they want. Okay, because then that gives them like a visual way to kind of compare and contrast between the packages and see which one is going to fit best for them and what price range that they want. Okay, so my very first one that I did here was for 4 hours of indoor. What if they say, what if I want only 2 of the invoices and maybe 1 of the photo papers, and then give me 1 of the photo retouching services. And then you make a new one for them, and then they're like, okay, I want to go back compared to that. Would it be better to do this or better to do that? So the great thing about estimates is because it doesn't affect anything in QuickBooks besides you just making a bunch of estimates, that's exactly what this is for. It's for creating proposals for your customers. So again, if this program isn't what they want, or they want more to the program, or they want something less from the program, you should create multiple estimates, so then they at the end of the day, the customer has options between the different estimates and which one that they're going to choose that fits best for them and which one that they want to agree to. Okay, so you can modify it, but then then the customer's going to lose that visibility of being able to see what that estimate was before. Okay, so best.
Want anything. What you do with the estimate?
If they want everything on there?
No, they don't want anything. Absolutely nothing. They don't want to buy anything. What to do with the estimate?
You just leave it there. It does nothing. It does nothing to your business. Because once again, you have the option, right? You can follow up on them because you're obviously going to get their contact information. You get to follow up on them saying, hey, are you still interested in this family photo portrait? And they can tell you right then and there, no, I'm sorry, I found somebody else. Or I'm still thinking about it. Oh, give me some more time. Or whatever reasons that you give, you contact them back for it. If they want nothing to do with you, don't delete it, because again, it will be useful information to see what customers are more likely willing to pay for. Okay, and maybe this person's a loss. Okay.
And that's
You had a question?
no, that's when from the estimate we can start an invoice if they are interested in the business, right?
If they are interested in the business and they say yes to one of the proposals that you made, then yes, that's when you can go ahead and proceed with the invoice. Okay? And that's exactly what we're going to do right here. So in this case, they did say yes to us. Okay? They said yes to us, and because it was for that date, all right, what you're going to do is you're just going to make a regular invoice. It doesn't matter how you do it. You go to the invoices and you say Garrison family portrait, right? and you're going to get this window here. This is going to say, hey, this person has a potential estimate. And then this is what's going to help you save so much time, because if they agreed on the estimate, you click on this particular estimate right here, you click OK, it drops everything in from that estimate into the invoice, and that's all you had to do. Okay?
What did you click first? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
You're gonna go create an invoice.
Okay,
You're gonna type in that person,
that person.
and this window will pop up saying,
Okay.
hey, are you creating an estimate? Are you creating an invoice based on this person's estimate? If you say no, then don't select it. But if you say yes, I'm building an invoice off of this estimate right here, then you say okay, and it will fill in all the information for you.
And the invoice.
And it creates an invoice. And again, you're going to have to modify this because I believe it's 2025-1. The service, once again, was on whenever, the 14, and everything looks good. However, let's say we completed this this task for them. However, we only used 1 hour of services. So in this case, I can modify the invoice as I please. Okay? If they said no, I only wanted 5 photo packets or whatever, you can always modify your estimate and your invoice at any given time. So in this case, they were quoted for 2 hours, but in this case I said, well, I didn't use the full 2 hours. I only used 1. So I'm going to go ahead and correctly bill you for that invoice because I only used 1 hour of retouching. Okay? And therefore, again, I need to make a change in this section right here because it says that they got 2 hours of retouching when in reality they only got 1. So I have to change this and say they only got 1 hour of retouching. All right? Tax is all there, but obviously the invoice is different from the estimate, so it's going to reflect differently on your invoice as well. So that's what you can do too. If an estimate goes through, but you realize that whatever service that you provide was actually less and was accomplished within those things. So in this case, they wanted 2 hours. It was done in 1. So I'm not going to charge my customers for 2 hours. I'm going to properly charge them for 1. All right?
And one question.
Yes.
That will be erased the original estimate, right?
Say that again?
When you modified it, that will erase the original one.
No.
No?
No.
You just leave it okay.
No. You can build as many invoices off of any estimate. So if I wanted to redo another estimate, I could do the same exact thing. Right? Because the estimate's still going to hang there because once again, it's not a confirmed
estimate.
It's not for sure. It doesn't convert the estimate to an invoice. It's just always going to be there. Okay. So, good. And once I got that good, save and close. Beep of approval. That tells me your invoice has been cleared. So, once again, I can go ahead and take a look at Garrison on my customer center, and here my estimate's still going to always be there, but this time my estimate has become now an invoice. Okay. Now again, if for any reason that a customer decides, hey, I like this service, can I buy another one, you could still build it off of that same estimate and create the invoice for it over and over and over again. Okay? You don't need to build another invoice or another estimate because you already have one in the system. All right?
I see that.
Okay. So that's how you create an invoice off of an estimate. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. Right? The next section I'm going to be talking to you guys about is going to be progress invoicing. Okay? Now, progress invoicing allows you to basically take a take an estimate and you're able to divide it in increments of in increments, or if in this case they wanted a whole entire quote for an entire setting, or maybe a customer wants you to bill them per day of services, or maybe they want you to bill you when the service is complete, XYZ, right? So you can build an estimate that could be for a huge project, that could be a week long, it could be a project that could be ongoing. So what you could do is you could build an estimate. Okay, maybe they want to know how much is it going to cost me if I were to, have you guys for a whole week or for a full 4 days, and every day you're going to have X amount of things, and every day is going to be another photo shoot. Okay, you can build an estimate off of that, and what you can do is you can, after every day, you can invoice them for that amount. And the invoice and the estimate amount are not going to change, okay? Unless, there was something on the invoice that they modified as they went through, okay? Yes, you can build that. That's the purpose of progress invoicing. So think of it for an example. You want to build a building, right? It's not going to be done in a day. So you decide, okay, I potentially think that I want a building to be built within 4 months. So then therefore, what you can do is you could take your estimated amount, saying all the materials that you need, and you could break it down to a point where I can divide my invoice or my estimate amount into 4 if I wanted to, saying every month I want you to bill me the amount and see what the progress is. How much have you completed the job? All right? And that's what you can do when you're using progress invoicing. Now, as I've talked to you guys before, right, it was very important that you remember that during the interview, if that is something that you do have for the company that you would like to use, right, if you have a huge project and you want to bill your customer, or if the customer wants you to be billed in increments, then that's what you can do here. Now, once again, let's go ahead and go to that Edit Preferences menu once again. And let's go into Jobs and Estimates. Okay, make sure you're on your company preferences. So here, excuse me, I have estimates clicked on as yes. However, my progress invoicing is at no. So in this case, I need to say, yes, I do progress invoicing. And the next thing here is that do not print items that have 0 balances. Right, you definitely don't want that. So make sure you have this checked mark. It's automatically for you. But once again, once you toggle this portion right here, now when you do your estimates and you convert them into invoices, you're going to get an additional window that pops up. All right, so in this case, progress invoicing is toggled on, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Windows says to make these changes, there will be changes to the forms. You click OK or yes. So now I'm going to go back to my home page. Okay, so in this case, you can't see progress invoicing on your home page. Okay, that's you won't be able to see it. You can only be able to activate it when you are actually creating your estimate and you're actually converting it into an invoice. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example real quick, right? Let's go ahead and create an estimate, and this time it's going to be for Miranda, I think it was Miranda's Corner. Let's take a look. Is it Miranda's Corner? I have estimate for, okay, for this one,
It's Anderson
From
Wedding.
the book.
oh, it's Anderson, it's Andy, yes, thank you, sorry about that. All right, so Anderson Wedding And oh my gosh, okay. Anderson wedding, and this time it's for Sarah and Michael. Okay. Once again, I believe they belong to the San Jose location. Okay. And this time they want their photo shoot to be done also on the same day, February 14th. Okay. And this time, as you can see, my invoice or my my estimate, right, is now 2025-2. So this is my second estimate for the year of 2025. So here, let's go ahead and take a look at in the book. I believe they want an indoor photo session, an outdoor photo session, and they want retouching, and I believe they wanted a few other things too. There's like I believe
Photographer.
they want a photographer, and let's see, here you go, estimate right here. So they want an outdoor photo session, photographer, photo paper, and they want retouching. Okay, and they want 20, 20, 40, and then 4. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. All right, so here we go. Let's add this information in. So the very first one is they want an outdoor photo session. Okay, outdoor photo session, and they want 20 of them. Okay. For the photographers, okay, so photographers, they want 20 photographers. Okay. And notice this one is automatically already marked up to 66.67%. Great, I don't need to make any changes there. Next thing they wanted was a photo paper, and they want 40 of them. Okay. And this time, like I've mentioned before, I'm going to go ahead and mark them up 25%. Okay, because I can do so. All right. And that's marking up the price value up 25%. And then last but not least, they wanted retouching for 4 hours. Okay. And that one is all for that. And then this one is going to be thank you for your business. And in this case, you can list out all the items that they want, or you could say this is photo session, like, I don't know. In this case, they could tell you this is a 4-day photo session. This could be XYZ, right? I'm going to say 4-day photo session. All right. Everything looks good. They're being taxed at Santa Clara. Everything looks good. They're going to be billed for a total of $5,429. Or sorry, this is their estimate. Okay. That's the estimated amount that they're going to be subject to pay for. Okay. And save and close. Okay. And once again, you're going to get this little message that says, oh, this person has exceeded their credit limit. Just go ahead and click yes.
I can get that one.
Okay. So once you have that, right, I just realized I just did, okay, so anyways, you're supposed to go ahead and not save and close. What you're actually supposed to do is you're supposed to click save at the top. Now I'm going to go ahead and locate where that estimate is because I have to actually bring that window right back up. Okay, so there it is, right? Here's my estimate, and let's say they agree to it, right? They agree to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this into an invoice, right? I have the create an invoice right here at the top of the window, right? That's like another way that you could do it as well, is by clicking on create invoice. Now if I go ahead and click on that window, right? Now I'm going to be getting this little window that says create progress invoicing, all right? Now this is where it's going to be asking me, how do I want to how do I want to transfer this invoice, this estimate to an invoice, right? I have three options. I could do one based on, right? Do I want to transfer all of the information over? That's the first one. The second one's going to be based on a percentage of items. So maybe I want it to be divided in 4 or whatever it is, right? So in this case, they want it to be based on 25% of everything. Okay? So 25%. And then last but not least, there's also the option where you could create the invoice and select the items that you want on there. In this case, 25% is what I want, is what they wanted, okay? And I'm going to click OK. So now the invoice is going to be created, and notice this. All the services and all the items that they wanted to buy from me was divided into 4. So that means day 1, right? They're gonna have 5 hours of outdoor photo sessions. They're gonna have 5 photographers there, and they're gonna have 10 photo papers and 1 hour of service. Okay, and in this case, right, my invoice number has also changed. And what I have to do here is now I have to mark and change my memo, because I could say this is for photo session for day 1. Okay? And that's what they want you to fill in there, and that's how you can use progress invoicing, right? Now, if I pick the other session, the other one where I can select items, I can say maybe the day 1 I want to have 10 photographers that day, right? Maybe I want only 5 photo packages that day, or 5 photo papers that day. And maybe I only want I definitely want them 1 hour. So in that one, right, if you're selecting the items from that invoice, then that's how you're able to modify it here. And once again, if this is just how they're going to be dividing it. They're dividing it in quarters and 4s, right? So here, this is what they want for the first day. Okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. So now I've already processed my estimate. I divided it into 25%, and now I have invoiced my customer, my client, right? Any questions in regards to that? That's progress invoicing.
I missed the divided by 25 from the estimate.
So when you do that, go ahead and then click OK, because when you click OK, your invoice should appear exactly right in your book.
No, to divide it to 25 on the 25 on the estimate. I am on the estimate. I missed that part.
Okay, so so look in your book, because in this part I already completed the transaction. I can't undo it.
No, where I click the create an invoice, what's the?
Yes, you click on create an invoice, and you're going to get the window that says progress invoicing.
My message say the entire estimate has been copied. You can edit the invoice by removing or adding any items.
Did you click on yes to progress invoicing when in the preference window?
No.
Okay, that's exactly what the step I did before that.
Progress.
Okay, so once again, follow your book, because your book is going to tell you exactly how you're doing it. Okay, so that was one of the steps that you missed, is that I set my preferences to allow progress invoicing. Okay.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Question about that. So I did all that, and as I was working with my stuff, I noticed one thing. If I click on the invoices, the progress won't be up there. But if I have an estimate or invoice on the screen, then the progress button's there.
It should flag you regardless. That's because in your book it told you to just create an invoice on your home page. But for me, I just went straight from my estimate and just created the invoice through using the estimate.
Oh, the invoice, yeah. I thought you were talking about the progress button.
Yeah, that wait, yeah, when you click on that, the progress button should pop up automatically.
Yeah,
You don't have to physically turn it on. If that makes sense.
okay, because I was having an issue before, but then what I found out is the only time I see the progress button on, say, an open invoice is if I have an actual invoice on that screen.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes. So
because the book's worded wrong. The book says to just click open and hit progress, but it doesn't tell you that you have to have an invoice or estimate open to see it.
okay, it did say open up an invoice, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna type in who was it? Anderson Wedding.
Yeah,
Anderson Wedding.
Wilson, Sarah. Yeah.
Okay, so when you do that, okay, yes, you have to create you have to actually essentially open up the invoice. And now it says here, are you linking it to this estimate? And I said okay. Then this window is gonna pop up.
Right.
Right.
Said that. He said that the 12 step, you have 10, 11, and 12 is you create an invoice.
Yes, the next after you created the estimate first, the next step is to create a new invoice. But in this case, I stayed on the estimates page and I just went ahead and just click on create an invoice from there. And then you're going to get this window here because if you toggle this button in your settings like we did earlier, right? That I want progress invoicing, then this window is going to pop up and it's going to say, well, how much do you want how much do you want to divide the estimate by? And you can either charge them for the whole amount or you could charge them by a percentage. In this case, I only want to charge them for a percentage, right? So I put 25. I have to actually put the percentage and then I click OK. So then now it's going to populate for me exactly what 1/4 of that estimate was, right? Because I asked for 20 outdoor photo sessions, 20 photographers, and 20 and 40 photo papers, right? It's dividing it into 4 because I'm only going to invoice them for that, for 25% of what I want. Okay, so in this case, maybe I could say that since this is a great example here, I could say on the 15, and then instead of saying it down here, I could say could be for the photo session for day 2. All right, and if you notice this, the invoice number is also different because now I'm going to be sending out this one because maybe the day 2 has already passed. I'm gonna send them a new invoice. Right, so that's what you could do here. All right, and then save and close. And once again, it says you went over your credit limit. Just go ahead and ignore that and click yes. Okay, that's how you get that progress invoicing to activate and pop up. Now, again, if you do go on to your invoice, I don't believe you can activate it any other besides that part right there. Let me see, formatting and menu and main. No, there isn't another way that you can just activate that progress without having your estimate or your invoice available. That's an automatic pop-up that QuickBooks does on its own. Okay. So once again, now let's go ahead and talk about how I'm able to keep track of my estimates or keep track of my my invoicing. Simple thing is you got to go to your customer center, and here you have your transaction tab. If I click on that, I can narrow everything down based on my estimates, based on my invoicing, right? Based on anything that I want to do, right? You can do it. I can even keep track of my refunds this way too. That's what's cool about that is here for my estimates, I have 2 estimates I've created already, and that's right. Okay, that's how I keep track of my estimates, and this is where if you have multiple people or multiple prospects, right, and they haven't given you a confirmation saying yes, they'll go ahead and do your services, this is where you can go ahead and keep track of your estimates is by clicking on your customer center going to your transaction list and clicking on estimates, and then you could see all the list of people who were potential sales. And what you could do from here is you can open up each individual estimate, contact each person, and say, hey, are you still interested in my services? Okay, so I just wanted to show you that real quick. All right. Any other questions for this section here? All right. There are two more concepts I want to go over real quick. All right. And the next one is that when you create estimates, you can also have the potential ability to also create purchase orders at the same time as with your estimates. Okay. So if I go ahead and click on estimates now, you can only do this if you are using Premier, Enterprise, and Accountant. If you have downloaded the free trial for the QuickBooks Pro, you can't actually do this step because this isn't available. This is a feature that is for a higher version of QuickBooks. So, but your book shows it to you because you get the actual availability to have access to all of those with the student discount or student free trial. However, if you haven't done that, I would just recommend you go ahead and just watch this video over and over again. Now, this section, again, it's not super important. I believe you won't be. I would say this section is not important enough for you to be asked a specific question on it on the certification exam because again, it teaches you for Pro, Premier, and Accountant. But if you are using Pro, right, that's why they've said in the book, they just recommend you to just review it as a reading. So I'm assuming that this is, once again, this is a very small section. I don't believe that it's going to be something that they're going to be testing you on, okay? Now, that's a 1% slim chance that they will, okay, ask you a specific question on how do you create a purchase order through the estimates. I highly doubt they're going to ask you that if, you know, let's say you are using Pro and you don't have the capabilities of doing that. In this case, since it's in the book and I think it's something that you should know, I'm going to go ahead and teach it to you real quick. Okay? So let's go ahead and create a third estimate. So this one's going to be for the Maria Cruz, I believe, branch opening. So let's take a look. Purchase orders. You're going to create your estimate for Maria. Okay? Okay, maybe not for just the branch opening. I'm going to say for just Maria. Okay? And then she's going to be in the class. Okay, so this is going to be on February 19. So a couple days later. And she belongs to, I think she belongs to the Walnut Creek location. Nope, San Jose. She is a San Jose. All right? San Jose. And once again, it's already filled in for you. Now let's see what Miss Maria Cruz actually wants from us. Okay, I'm just making sure you guys are there. So in this case, let's go ahead and check out in our book.
Custom frame. You want a custom frame.
They want to get custom framing from us, yes. And they also want premium photo package. They only want one of them. Why is it all of a sudden 10? So let me go ahead and go double check this one real quick. This is the section I'm supposed to be in. All right, I went a little too far down. So here, we're looking at trying to enter in an invoice, right? She wants one premium package and she wants 4 custom frames, okay? So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. She wants a premium photo package. She only wants one of them. And then she wants custom framing. Custom framing. And she wants 4 of them. Okay, and I believe the custom framing, I think did we mark her up for this? Let's see. San Jose. Yes, we marked her up 50%. 50, and I want it to be set as a percentage. So 50%. Here you go. Oh, nope, not as a dollar. I want it as a percentage. Maybe I have to throw in the percentage there. So there you go, 50%, and there you have it. Okay, and now this one, it says that it's because it's a custom frame. We have to actually toggle this to enter in what it says in the book, which I believe it's $90 per frame. Is that 90 or 80? It's 90. 90 times 4 should give you a total of 360. Okay, so that's the custom framing, and we're going to mark her up 50%. Okay. Once again, you could say thank you to Miss Maria for her services or for her business. And also, you want to make a note here that this is for one premium photo package and 4 custom frames. Okay. And since everything looks good, now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to leave this page. I'm going to go ahead and go up to the top, and I'm going to click save. So here, my estimate has been saved. All right. And let's say while she's agreeing, maybe yes, she'll do it. I could go ahead and process her purchase order from here. How do I do that? Right at the top of the window, you should have create the purchase order. Okay, once again, only on Premier Enterprise and Accountant will have this. If you have Pro, it will not appear. All right, so I click on this window right here, and now it's going to be asking me, well, if I'm going to be creating a purchase order, what am I going to be doing it for the entire order? Okay, for all the allowed ones, or am I going to want to select my items? In this case, I want to select my items and yes, and I'm gonna click OK. So now it's gonna give me another window that gives me options on what I can actually send a purchase order out to. So in this case, I'm going to click on custom frames because we know that we need to go talk to one of our vendors because we don't do custom framing. Our vendor does. So we're going to have to ship out the photos out to the vendors, and they're going to make the custom framing for us. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to click OK. And now a purchase order is going to be created. Now, if you have a vendor that is specified for this custom framing, then it should automatically fill the information for you. But let's say you don't have a vendor that you always go to for custom framing. Maybe you have multiple vendors. Maybe for this particular service, or a particular item that they're purchasing, it's a different vendor, okay? But in this case, since we've already saying that this is the preferred vendor that we set out for our custom framing, then there you go, okay? It is for Ace Supply, and you don't need to write anything here except for down here. What you do want to make sure that you have here is not mention about a premium photo package. But what happens here is that I'm going to say, so it says right here, estimate number. I'm going to make this estimate order for that right there. And I'm going to say for the 4 custom frames. Okay. And what I'm going to do is this purchase order number is going to be number 271. Okay. And this one you can also add the name too if you want to be specific. You could say it's for Miss Maria, so you know exactly that this is for Maria Cruz. Okay. Once you have that, that's where you can go ahead and click save and close, because now while the customer is going to go ahead and go forth with this estimate, you're at the same time letting your vendor know, hey, I need to order 4 custom frames for this particular customer. All right? And that's what you can do for this section here. All right? All right? Any questions there? Okay. Okay. So I showed you how to go ahead and do your estimates, okay, or find your estimates. Now, one thing I need you to tell you once again is there is a bunch of estimate reports that you can do. I'm not going to go over it because once again, are you in charge of the sales process? Are you in charge of your prospects? Are you the person who's trying to get these people to, get your business? If you're not, then these ones are not going to be relevant to you. Okay, so for these reports, you guys can read them on your own and figure and kind of look at what those reports are all about. So again, there's a bunch of reports on estimates that you can take a look at, right? And those estimates are going to be based on pretty much the reports. So how many prospects do you have? What did they order, etc. So there's estimates by job report. There's estimates by customer report. There's a bunch of things right there. Okay? So you guys can go ahead and take the time to do that. I'm going to go ahead and show you the very, very, very last concept that I think is the most important one, because this is what you're going to be commonly seeing, especially in any type of business. Okay? Now, if you have a strange customer that comes on in and says, I want to buy some service for you, I want to place it on an account. Now, if you've never met this person or anything like that, are you just going to just say yes to the service? Okay? And that's where this concept is going to be, where if they're going to be giving you if you're going to be giving them an estimate, and let's say the project is for $1,000 and you say yes to that, you're going to want them to commit to you and make sure that they buy into your product and say, I require a down payment, or I require some kind of deposit to ensure that when I provide this service to you, you don't deny me or you don't cancel to me last minute. I'm going to be getting some kind of money from you, okay? And there are company policies, right? You could say, hey, and if you don't go through with this estimate or this job, I'm going to go ahead and not refund you your money. So then that's also one of those policies where it kind of traps your customer in that kind of thing where if it's a 50% down deposit, you're going to want to go through with that job, okay? And most cases, a lot of times, as the person who's providing the service, right, it's going to be 50% down payment, especially when we're looking at a project that could be a lot of money. You definitely want at least 50%. You never want to go any less than that. Okay? Or at least I want $100 deposit. Okay? You guys are going to be determining what that is if you do end up creating your own company. That is definitely something that you want to look into to prevent 2 things from happening, right? For customers who fall on you last minute and say, oh, I never mind, I'm going to cancel this. All right? And 2, again, it ensures that the customer is going to be committed to you. Okay? All right, so how do we do this? So let's go ahead and check it out in your book. I believe it's, let's see. This section is going to be under customer deposits. Let me see. Which is going to be, okay, it's not on this section. It's going to be the section after that, where we're going to be creating customer deposits and how we do that. So there are a few things that you could do. So again, job estimates. Okay, so then this is more again reports. Here we are. Okay, wrong page. Here we go. Tracking customer deposits. So once again, if you are trying to be collecting money from your person, this is what you have to need to know. Now, since this is going to be considered an advance payment for services that have not been completed, right, because you are requiring the customer to give you a deposit, then therefore you have to understand that this is not income that you have earned yet. In fact, if they're giving you an advance payment for a service that you haven't completed, then your job is that you owe this person service, right? If you're creating an estimate and they say, yes, I want this, okay, and you say, I want a deposit, then they're going to pay you for something that they haven't even received yet. So therefore, you are required to owe them for services because that was your policy. So how we have to understand what a customer deposit is that now we need to understand that we need to start thinking about how we're going to be creating our items and what accounts do they actually belong to. So since once again, we understand that a prepayment or an advance payment from a customer for a service that you haven't provided, that's going to be considered an other current liability. Okay, so like I've mentioned before, no one's going to pay you in advance anytime like a year later then you provide the service. That's not how most projects usually go for, right? Usually it's done within that year. Okay, if they may, for example, like a hotel, they require a deposit to hold the venue for 3 months later on, then you have the event, then that's what I mean. It's not going to be for a whole year unless, again, it's a wedding, whatever. But unless the company says we're booked out for the whole year. So if you want to save a date, it's going to be a year later. Okay? So that's going to be an example. In most cases, it's going to be a current liability. You're going to owe the services for within 1 year. Now, we got to first have to set up the account, set up the item, and then how we actually apply it to an invoice. So let's go ahead and take a first look at the very first one here is that we need to set up an account in order to set up our item to use for our customer deposit. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and go to our chart of accounts, okay? And here we are, and we're going to create our item, we're going to create our account first to kind of hold the money for us to be able to apply to either the invoice that they are going to be billed for, okay? So here I'm going to go ahead and create a new item and a new account, and this is what I'm going to do. Since I know for sure that a customer deposit is something that is going to be considered an other current liability, you're going to come over here, right? It's not a common one. It's not an income. It's not an expense. You're going to go ahead and hit other account types, and you're going to go on your drop-down menu, and you're going to select other current liabilities. And then you're going to go ahead and click next or okay, continue. So then you're going to get the window where you're going to be filling information that you need to have to creating the account. So first things first is they give you the account number that they want you to link this account with, which is account number 23,000. Okay. The way that they want you to name this is going to be customer deposits. Customer deposit. Okay. And then your description could be anything that you want to say. I want to say that this is going to be a customer deposit or advance payment for services. Okay. All right. And again, it's not a sub account, and all this information here you don't have to fill out. It's optional. And I'm going to go ahead and click that right there down below. And here we are. We have an account. It's a liability, current liability, and it's called customer deposit. Okay. So now, once again, because we are dealing with our customers, right, we need to now create an item once again to go ahead and reflect so I can put it on my invoice and my sales receipt forms. So here I'm going to go down below and I'm going to go ahead and click new. And this time it's going to be a service item, okay? Because that's the one that makes sense, because it's not going to calculate for you, and it's not going to be it's not a charge, it's definitely not a discount. It's going to be a service that the customer is going to provide for you that you can, apply to their invoice later on. So there you go. They want you to name it as customer deposit. Okay? And again, now they're going to talk about what the description is. Once again, same thing. You could say advanced payment for services. Okay? And then now this is where you have to link your account to make sure that when you do receive a payment, right, that it's going to be connected to each other. All right? So in this case, right, obviously there's no rate or there's no price range for it, because a customer deposit could be for whatever amount that you are going to be titling it for. So again, if it's based on the invoice amount, if it's a percentage, 50% for whatever it is, right? This is, again, you're going to be modifying it on the sales form itself. So in this case, I'm going to leave it as 0, okay? Even though I know it's going to be 50%, let's just leave it, because it might not work. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be, I'm just going to leave it as that. Of course, this is also, obviously, you're not going to tax for customer deposits. So I'm going to leave as service, because services are non-taxable. And the account that I'm going to be linking this is going to be your current liability for customer deposits. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now I have right here customer deposits as an item for service. Okay? And then now I can go ahead and continue on forward. Now let's say, now the question here is that they do give you 2 options, because you do technically have 2 options. So if you decided to record the advance payment right now, right, let's say they sent you a check and said, here is my down payment. Then you're going to create a sales receipt for that, because you're receiving money for a service that you haven't completed yet. But let's say they haven't given you the down deposit yet, and you're going to invoice them, then you just simply create them an invoice. Okay? But the idea here is that you're getting an advance payment for services you haven't provided. So you can't provide the service without having the down payment, without having that first. So I don't know why they introduced that into you in that area. So in this case, if it's a down payment that you are asking, you're going to click on sales receipt. Okay. So this is just to record that something has happened. All right. And we're going to go ahead and say, I believe this is Miranda's Corner. Okay. They belong to the Walnut Creek location. And this time, I'm going to say they actually used a credit card. Now, in the book, they said, just go ahead and ignore this. But I mean, you could literally punch in any credit card number in here. It doesn't make any difference. But I'm just going to go ahead and do what the book says. Okay, that they paid with a credit card. Again, sales receipt is going to be for 2025-1. The date is relative. Okay. I'm going to say, again, let's just say we received the deposit that very same day. Now, the item I'm going to put here is going to be now the customer deposit. Okay. So customer deposit. Okay. And now this is where we're going to put quantity of 1. And this is where we're going to say they deposited to me $800. Okay, and there you go. They paid via credit card, so that's going to be automatically deposited to my checking account because they used a credit card, so it's instant. Okay, and down below, once again, thank you for your business. and customer deposit, okay, for job, for job, because I don't know what the invoice was, right? I just know that that's what I am looking for, that this was a deposit for this job, okay? And I'm going to go ahead then click save and close, okay? Now, this is just in case that you haven't put in the invoice. Unfortunately, what you're going to do is you're going to create the invoice, because then you're going to apply that amount into your invoice once the service has been completed. But what QuickBooks has already done for you is that they have already created the invoice already. So let's see, let's go ahead and look for Miranda's Corner. Here they are. Miranda's Corner, they already provided the invoice number 103. And I'm going to double click on it right there. And here you go. This is the invoice that you are looking into modifying. Okay. And how do you modify this? You could just go ahead and simply enter in whatever you need to enter. So as you could see, this was for $1,697. So they basically said, all right, give me at least almost 50% of the down payment, just to ensure that this is all the services that you want. So this person wanted to buy indoor photo sessions, outdoor photo sessions. They wanted photographers, they wanted retouching, and they wanted a photo premium package. Since they wanted so much, it's only right for you to say, I want a deposit. So how you can apply it to the invoice directly is you're not going to be using any other windows. What you're going to do is you're going to just place the line item saying this is a customer deposit. You're just going to put it right into the invoice in there automatically. And you need to say that this is for one customer deposit. And once again, it says right here, advance payment for services. Perfect. But now what I'm going to do is under the rate, I'm going to say that this is negative $800. Okay, because this time I'm trying to subtract the amount for this customer deposit. Because this, again, it's going to go against the invoice. It's not going to go towards the invoice. It's going to go against it to lower the amount that this person now owes me. So as you can see down below, it now has drastically dropped down to $897. All right. And then I go ahead and click save and close. And here, when you do print out the invoice, it shows up on the invoice that you have a line item for that customer discount and it's been applied. All right. And that's how you do customer deposits. All right. Do you want to save the changes for this transaction? You want to say yes. So in this case, they gave me money in advance, and that's how I used it to apply it to the invoice. So then when you bill them, it's for the less amount. Okay. Any questions in regards to chapter 13? All right, because that's the end of chapter 13.
Nope.
No.
Okay. I know I went over that pretty quickly, but I just wanted to make sure that we had enough time. So it's exactly 4:30. So let's go ahead and just go over the multiple choice questions, and then we can call it the rest of the day. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with question right here. Let me see. Correct. Question number 1. So remember, we're selecting the best answer. Question number 1 says, estimates help you to...
D.
D is correct. Both A and B, which is A, says we're going to track your future sales. Yes, estimates are your potential customers, your potential clients, your future sales, potential sales. Okay. And of course, B says to track how your actual revenues and costs of your to compare with what was estimated. Yes. So again, keeping track of which potential clients actually turned into actual sales is true. Okay. All right, number two. Number two says creating an invoice from an estimate.
A.
Okay, number two. You said A?
Has little effect on financial statements and estimates posted on the general ledger.
Should be B.
That is true, but this isn't talking about what estimates does for the company. We're talking about creating the invoices. So in this case, if you're creating an invoice from an estimate, essentially you are affecting financial information because you're converting an estimate, which is a non-posting transaction, and you're converting it into an invoice, which is an accounts receivable. So A is actually not true.
B.
B, estimates. Okay, estimates. The need to manually enter in an estimate details on the invoice. So yes, if you guys remember, right? Oh, it says eliminates. Sorry. Eliminates the need to enter in all the information. Yes. So remember, right? If we use that estimates window, right? When we create our invoices, it basically essentially it saves us time to have to enter everything in manually. And the great thing is you can also toggle it afterwards, right? If this is what the customer is being billed for, and let's say you didn't provide that service, then you can correct it right then and there. So it's being built upon the estimate, but you can always modify it there. And yes, when you convert it from an estimate, it just saves you extra time to have to put all those information in. Okay? It fills in the invoice for you, so once again, it saves you some extra time there. Number 3, which statement is false?
C.
C, okay? QuickBooks can track how much of the estimates have been invoiced and how much is how much is remaining. Good. C is true. Wait, I think I read the wrong one. Number 3, progress invoicing. Progress invoicing can create an invoice for the entire estimate. Yes, that is true. Okay, sorry, I read the wrong letter. But the answer for number 3 is C, and that is true. I'm sorry, that statement is false. Okay. Number 4, okay, after the customer approves of the estimate, that you can create the following forms using the QuickBooks Premier, Accountant, and or Enterprise. So what's that feature that you can do?
C.
C is to do both A and B. Yes, it allows you to create purchase orders, and it allows you to create sales orders. Okay. So I forgot to mention in a little small section of sales orders. I mean, if you actually go into the reading, it basically tells you that a sales order is the same thing as an estimate, except the only difference is that sales orders are guaranteed invoices. That's the only difference, right? Where your estimates are potential, where sales orders is an actual order, an actual invoice. So in this case, it's the same steps as doing an estimate, except the difference is you're using a sales order instead of the estimates form, which you do have to have Premier and Pro. You have to have Premier and Enterprise to be able to do sales orders. Okay. Number 5, you should usually use the Create Purchase Orders for Selected Items button when creating purchase orders from estimates. Okay, because why?
D.
number 5 is D. Yes. Okay. Because it is rare that you will include all of the service items. That is true. Because again, the purchase order section for the estimates is only for the products that you sell. It's not for the service. You can't purchase order a service from a vendor for this. You can if it's like a video, if it's a third party vendor, then yes, you can. But in most cases, that is true. D is because not everything on that estimate is something that you can do purchase orders for. All right. Number 6, okay? You can view estimates through
D.
letters. Number 6 is in fact D, where it says all of the above. Yes, so in the customer center, right, we talked about that little transaction tab. Okay, on the estimates by job report, right, if you ran that, you can definitely see all of your estimates. And on the job estimates versus actual summary, yes, any reports that are dealing with your estimates will show you basically all of your estimates. So yes. All right. Number 7, if you want to see a list of your estimates for all of your jobs created, all the jobs create.
B as in boy.
B as in boy. The estimates by job report. Yes, pretty straightforward. Okay. Letter 8. Which statement is true?
A.
Number 8 is A, okay? To track open and closed estimates, okay? As they relate to the billing, okay? Use the job estimates versus the actual summary report. Very good. Number 9. For general ledger activity, okay, sales orders closely resemble which other form in QuickBooks?
B as in boy.
Yes, estimates. I just said that 2 seconds ago. So that little small section that you guys read at the very end of the book before you got to the review questions, it's literally only like 10 lines long. Basically tells you it's the same thing as an estimate, but the only difference is that a sales order is an actual agreement that an actual invoice will be produced at the end of it, where estimates is a potential. So the steps they do for a sales order is identical to an estimate. The only difference is that you have to have Premiere in order for you to do the sales orders, which is weird. Okay. Number 10, if you do not have enough stock on hand to fill orders, okay, you can. Number 10 is A. All right. All right. Yes, you could create a purchase order from the sales orders window, right? But once again, this chapter doesn't even talk about sales orders because essentially it's the same exact steps as an estimate, right? Number 11, okay, if you wish to create multiple purchase orders from a single estimate,
D.
D, right? You're just gonna select create purchase orders from the selected items and basically check mark them. Yes, that is correct. All right, let's see if we're good on time. All right. This section's pretty long, but anyways, if you guys want to answer these. Once again, you can find the answers right in the book. You just read what it says and be able to locate where they are in the book. But the answers are actually in the back of the book, right? So if you want to go over them, we can. But it is 4:45, so I actually have to let you guys go. Again, that is it for chapter 13. I do need to go over the rules and regulations for the exam that you guys are going to be having on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so I'm going to go over that right now.